13 News at Noon begins with breaking news, a deadly plane crash in Greenwood. Right now, as you can see from these images, first responders are on the scene near Main Street and I-65. These pictures are from police in the moments after that crash. This involves a small plane. It happened a little more than an hour ago in a very busy commercial district with a lot of restaurants and gas stations pretty much right in the heart of Greenwood. For some perspective, let's show you the map here. We're talking about an area near Main Street and the interstate, I-65, and a few blocks southeast of the local airport. Marina Silva joins us live from the scene in Johnston.
It happened right here near the Circle K gas station around 10:45 this morning, and I want to show you what we're seeing right now. I'm going to step out of frame. You can actually see the plane and where it crashed. It's about 20 feet from where the gas station is, that building. Now, police do tell us that the person killed is a woman who was piloting the plane. Now, it happened very close to a very busy intersection in Greenwood, again, near that Circle K gas station. It's between the Circle K and the Nest Event Center. Now, we do want to let you know, Indy South Greenwood Airport is only about a mile or two away from the scene. We see plenty of, and dozens of first responders here. A lot of people here just coming to see what happened. We're still waiting to hear an update from first responders as to what happened, and we'll make sure to bring that to you right as we get it. For now, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
It's striking just to see how close to that building the plane crashed, about 20 feet or so from that Circle K. Also near the Nest Event Center. For locals, they would recognize that building as the old Jonathan Bird. So we'll check back with you as soon as you learn more. Thank you, Marina. Of course, we'll continue to follow this breaking news during this noon hour as well as online. Just check out WTHR.com along with our news app. Thanks, everybody, for joining us here at noon on a Wednesday. I'm Dustin Grove with meteorologist Lindsay Monroe. Our other big story today is the one that really has been on repeat day after day after day is the heat and humidity, but we've got some relief in sight, huh?
We do. A game changer after today. One more day where there is a heat advisory going to be in effect for most of central Indiana through 8 o'clock tonight. Then we got a cold front going to bring some overnight storms. Might see an isolated stronger storm, but the bigger weather story after today is going to be the relief from that high heat and humidity. So let's talk about where that front is currently located and when we're going to see some of that cooler air arrive here in central Indiana. Now, I know that line marching into the far western tier of Illinois looks intimidating, but this has not been a widespread severe weather type setup for us today. In fact, as this boundary continues to sink south, we're going to have a lot of dry time ahead of that system approaching. So leading edge likely going to bring some isolated pop-ups as we get into the evening tonight. But most of this is going to move through while most of us are sleeping during the overnight hours. Still have a dew point temperature of 72, but on the drier and cooler side of that system, dew points are already starting to drop back into the 60s, and that is a more refreshing air mass that we will all welcome as we get into the day tomorrow. But in the meantime, storm threat for today, mainly along and north of the I-70 corridor. That's just a level 1 risk from the Storm Prediction Center. Again, we could see some of those isolated pop-ups developing. This is around 5 o'clock today. Most of them will be in northern Indiana. Our afternoon temperature is still going to be steamy, still looking at highs in the low 90s, at least for this afternoon. By midnight, noticing some of these downpours setting up in mainly northern Indiana, and then eventually during the overnight, that whole complex will slide south through the state. Again, an isolated, stronger storm going to be possible, though most of us just get some brief heavy rainfall into the early morning hours on Thursday. Big time drop in temperatures, highs only in the upper 70s tomorrow. We're going to talk more about those more pleasant changes in your full forecast.
Looking forward to it, Lindsay. Thank you. Right now, Metro Police are investigating a crash that killed a woman walking across the street. It happened just before 6 this morning near 38th Street and Boulevard Place. Police say the driver tried to avoid hitting the woman who was crossing the street in the median. Medics took her to the hospital where she died.
Devastating for this family of that deceased female. We'll think about her and hard for this driver. This driver's living with that, thinking, you know, that a person died because of an accident.
Metro Police say the driver stayed at the scene and is cooperating them. We'll let you know when investigators identify the woman who was killed. And late last night, another crash injured a pedestrian downtown. This was the scene at Maryland and Meridian Streets. And in the video here, you can see in a second what appears to be a bird scooter under the vehicle. Bird scooters are rented through a mobile app. No word on the victim's condition or what may have led to that crash. A suspect is still on the run this afternoon and an IMPD officer recovering after being shot in a surprise ambush. This was breaking news we covered all afternoon yesterday from the near west side, and it's the second attack on an officer in under a week. Police say this time it was a carjacking investigation that quickly escalated. Our Alex Almanza breaks down what happened.
Police say a stolen vehicle investigation led them to this car with 4 people inside. After pulling them over in this apartment complex near West 16th Street and Lafayette Road, police say one man ran away while the officer tried to arrest the driver. Then police say one of the passengers walked around and shot the officer.
An officer has been shot, 16th and Lafayette.
New photos from IMPD also show at least one of the guns with an extended magazine used to shoot the officer left in the parking lot of the complex. Another one found in the hallway of a nearby apartment where one suspect was found. Neighbors heard and saw it unfold.
It was just like boop, bop, 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 shooting everywhere. And then I looked out my window, I see people running, and the next thing you know, it's a swarm of police.
The injured officer then gave himself first aid with a tourniquet before 2 community members ran to the officer to help. Police say the officer and suspect were taken to a hospital and are glad the policeman is able to talk to his family today.
Evil did not win today. Evil will not win overall. And our officer is alive to tell about it.
For Chief Chris Bailey, he has a word of advice for the suspect on the run.
My suggestion to you is that you find the nearest church, pastor, or police station and turn yourself in right now. Our officers are not going to stop until they take you into custody.
Meanwhile, neighbors say that stolen cars or break-ins aren't unusual around here.
I had my car broken into and they attempted to steal my car. It's sort of been a problem. I hope this puts an end to it.
As of Tuesday, 3 people have been arrested, with one more somewhere out there in the community. In Indianapolis, Alex Almanza, 13 News.
And Metro Police need your help to find that remaining suspect. Anybody with additional information is asked to call IMPD, or you can call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS, and you do not have to give your name. In the next few hours, we are expecting a possible verdict in the trial of a man charged in a triple murder in Lawrence last year. 25-year-old Malik Shaw is accused of shooting and killing 19-year-old London Coleman, 19-year-old Aaliyah Wortman, and 27-year-old Spencer Lawson back in April of 2024. It happened in a parking lot at the Jamestown apartment complex. We learned that the suspects left behind a Chevy Impala, and a woman testified that she sold that car to a pair of young men for $1,000 just 3 weeks before the shooting.
Both of them had on all black and they pulled up with ski masks on.
And did you think that was odd?
Yes.
And why was that?
Because they pulled up with ski masks on to come pick up a car.
And the prosecution argues Lawson was set up to be executed. He was shot 26 times. The defense says all the evidence is circumstantial, with no eyewitnesses identifying Shaw as the shooter. They're expected to give their arguments today. A Rush County mother is facing neglect charges after one of her children died in a house fire, and now police say they're noticing some red flags with the mother's story. This fire happened back in June in the town of Arlington, that's in Rush County, just west of Rushville. Kirsten Bowers told investigators she fell asleep with a cigarette in her hand and woke up to her bed on fire. She told police she got all her kids out except her 7-year-old son, David. Detectives, though, say Bowers' story didn't add up. She had already told them her kids were sleeping in the living room right next to her bedroom. Police say security video shows Bowers walking outside the home just minutes before the fire. They say her first 911 call was made 2 blocks away from the house, and she didn't report the fire until she called a second time 15 minutes later. Police also say days after the fire, Bowers allegedly searched Google for things like manslaughter sentence Indiana and voluntary manslaughter. She's now facing charges related to neglect. Well, for years, schools have done fire drills, they've done tornado drills, more recently active shooter drills. And now IPS is doing something called a reunification drill. They did this at Arsenal Tech High School yesterday. This is where staff practice reuniting students with their parents in the event of a school shooting or other emergency evacuation. This is a key part of any sort of emergency planning. Really, when you think about it, it's because it's no small effort to get hundreds or maybe even thousands of kids out safely to a designated spot, then communicate that to families to get everybody home. I spoke with a security consultant who says this will show school leaders where the gaps are and what to tighten up and rework to make sure they're ready should they ever have to use this.